Ibu Ika Berti Apriliani, IV 004 ya. Terus Arfah, Ibu Arfah.
EV 004.
Untuk Ibu Ika Berti, IV 004 ya.
Iya. Iya, Pak.
Arfah, PC. Ibu Arfah, TC 011 ya.
Iya, iya Pak, 011 Pak, DC 011.
Maaf ada gangguan teknis sebentar ya. Oh, Ibu Arfah bisa dengar suara kami?
Bisa Pak? Halo, Pak, bisa Pak?
Maaf nih suaranya belum terdengar sebentar ya. Terus TC 10.
Ya Pak, kedengaran suara saya Pak?
Oh iya, bisa baru kedengaran ya. Ini sambil kami absen dulu ya.
Iya siap Pak.
Ibu Setiarini Santosa. Ini
Iya, Pak.
isi kodenya berapa, Bu?
EV 002.
IV 002.
Iya.
Oke. Setiarini. Oke. Ibu Farah Putri Wenang. Sudah hadir?
Iya Pak, saya sebenarnya nanti masih sesi 2 sih Pak.
Oh iya. Kodenya apa?
Saya kodenya ekonomi Pak, EC bentar. EC 007 Pak. Tapi masih sesi 2 Pak, nanti di room 3.
Oh, di room 3.
Iya, masih nanti siang.
Oke, jadi ini kita masuk di room 2 ini ya. Ini di room 2, Bu.
Boleh masuk ke room lain kan ya Pak untuk melihat?
Oh, kalau ini memang Ibu mengikuti presentasi di room 3. Kalau gitu, sesuai dengan roomnya masing-masing. Ibu di mana? Room berapa, Bu? Isi 002, Bu ya? Untuk yang berikutnya saya ini dulu. Ibu Resedian Andriani.
Ya baik Pak, hadir Pak.
Oh ya, ini kodenya apa, Bu?
Kodenya ENV 001.
EV 001 ya?
Iya.
Oke. Terus nih yang sudah hadir. Ibu Rati Purnamasari. Ya. Ibu Rati Purnamasari. Bisa di-unmute? Ibu Rati Purnamasari. Bapak Darmendra. Ini kodenya berapa ya? Darmendra. Udah.
MG 014 Pak.
MG 0014.
014 ya.
Oke. Sudah. Ini Ibu Rati Purnamasari mana ya? Ibu Rati Purnamasari.
Berarti masih di ini Pak, masih di apa? Yang di belum masuk breakout-nya Pak.
PC 010 ya. Nanti ini yang sudah ada ini kan ini Bu Rati Purnamasari mana ya?
Bu Rati sudah ada sih Pak, tapi belum masuk ke breakout-nya Pak, masih di tempat utamanya Pak. Nanti kami suruh untuk masuk ke sini. Ah ini Bu Rati udah masuk.
Hadir Pak, mohon maaf.
Ibu Rati Purnamasari ya, karena ini presentasi yang pertama itu nanti. Kemudian Ibu Mega Arum.
Hadir Pak,
Ya, kode berapa Bu?
MG 033.
MG 00
033. 033.
033. Harusnya di room berapa Bu ya?
Kalau dari daftar itu kan masuknya room 2, tapi waktu saya ngisi ke Google itunya ngisinya room 3. Sebenarnya saya di room berapa, Pak?
Oh, karena di room 2 tidak masuk.
Tidak ada ya?
Iya, di room 2 tidak tercantum. Jadi
Oh,
sebentar
ya.
saya cek dulu harusnya di room berapa ya itu ya.
Ya, baik Pak. Terima kasih.
IV33 ya tadi ya. Oh iya. Oh jadi di room, oh iya di room 2 tapi sesi 2 Bu ya. Oke. Jadi
Oh, siap Pak. Ini ya sesi 2 ya Pak ya.
oke iya. Jadi ini kami akan mulai sesuai dengan daftar yang sudah ada, sesuai dengan urutan ya. Jadi ini yang untuk dipersiapkan nanti yang pertama adalah Ibu Ratih, kemudian Ibu Arfa, kemudian nanti ada satu lagi yang offline, kemudian berikutnya adalah Ibu Rosedian. Ibu Rosedian Andriani, kemudian Ibu Setiarini ya. Nanti berurutan.
Pak operator, suaranya bisa agak jauh, kecil terdengar.
Oke. Iya. Jadi dua urutan pertama saya ini ya. Itu pertama adalah Ibu Rati, kemudian Ibu Arfa Piliang. Jadi untuk ketentuan waktunya adalah kita kasih waktu 10 menit maksimal ya. Bisa dipresentasikan apa yang sudah ditulis dan tidak ada tanya jawab. Jadi nanti bisa disampaikan secara ringkas. Jadi waktu yang kami berikan adalah 10 menit. Walaupun ini kita pakai pengantar, karena ini semuanya dari Indonesia, jadi kita pakai pengantar bahasa Indonesia. Untuk presentasi bisa disampaikan bisa dalam bentuk bahasa Indonesia atau bisa dalam bentuk bahasa Inggris ya. Jadi tidak ada masalah. Jadi kita pakai dua, bisa pakai bahasa Inggris, bisa pakai bahasa Indonesia. Untuk kesempatan pertama, waktu kita akan segera mulai. Jadi waktunya 10 menit maksimal. Untuk yang pertama, suara saya masih bisa kedengaran jelas?
Suaranya sangat kecil, Pak. Maaf.
Agak kecil Pak suaranya, mohon maaf.
Agak kecil, mohon maaf Pak.
Oke. Sebentar ya. Iya. Sekarang gimana? Sudah jelas?
kasih, Pak.
Suara Bapak Ibu tadi udah kedengaran jelas dengan kami. Untuk menyingkat waktu, kita akan mulai dari Ibu Ratih. Untuk ininya yang akan disampaikan tentang dengan judul papernya The Role of Internal Control System in Strengthening the Relationship between the use of information technology, accountability, and village government performance. Untuk waktu, kami persilakan kepada Ibu Ratih, waktu 10 menit dari sekarang. Silakan.
Ya, terima kasih, Pak. Izin share screen. Mohon maaf, Pak, sudah terlihat?
Sudah.
Ya, baik. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. My name is Ratih Purnamasari. Today I would like to presentation about the role of the internal control system in strengthening the relationship between the use of information technology, accountability, and village government performance. Indonesia is implementing a regional autonomy system where each region has the right, authority, and obligation to self-regulate government affairs. One of the implementation of this system is the financial management of village fund as regulated in Law Number 6, Year 2014 concerning village. So far, the facts reveal that the village government's performance is still relatively poor. Particularly regarding village fund, it can be seen in the accountability and disclosure of village fund in village administration in several villages in Indonesia, which are still not following the regulation of Village Law Number 6 of 2014. This research aims to determine the role of the internal control system, or ICS, in moderating the relationship between the use of information technology and accountability for village government performance. This research is of the causal associational type and employs a quantitative descriptive methodology and included 174 respondents from 58 villages in Banten province. In this case, we use agency theory. The relationship between the community and the local government is the correlation between the agent and the principal, where the society is the principal and the local government is the agent. And this is our framework. Hypothesis 1, the use of information technology has a positive effect on the performance of the village government. Hypothesis 2, the use of information technology has a positive effect on accountability. Hypothesis 3, accountability has a positive effect on the performance of the village government. Hypothesis 4, ICS has a positive effect on the performance of the village government. Hypothesis 5, ICS has a moderate effect on the use of information technology and the performance of the village government. And hypothesis 6, ICS has a moderate effect on accountability and the performance of the village government. And this is the result for the PLS. So the result for the hypothesis is, hypothesis 1, the use of information technology has a positive effect on the performance of the village government. It indicates that the use of information technology doesn't directly affect the performance of the village government because the use of information technology doesn't have a discernible impact on the performance of the village government. Hypothesis 2, the use of information technology has a positive effect on accountability. The finding of this test conducted for this investigation suggests that the implementation of information technology has a constructive and material impact on the accountability of the village government. Hypothesis 3, accountability has a positive effect on the performance of the village government. According to this finding, accountability has a beneficial and significant impact on the village government's performance. And hypothesis 4, ICS has a positive effect on the performance of the village government. There is no correlation between the effectiveness of the village government and the presence of an ICS. Hypothesis 5. ICS has a moderate effect on the use of information technology and the performance of the village government. The study finding indicate that accountability is a beneficial factor that acts as an intervening variable between the effect of utilizing technology and the performance of village government. And the last, hypothesis 6, ICS has a moderate effect on accountability and the performance of the village government. And the result of the STS diseases. And the conclusion, in addition to implementing accountability and ICS, increasing the use of technology must be a top priority because it affects the responsibility of village government performance. In addition, we must strengthen government training system and facilities. This study will help policymakers improve the accountability of village government performance. The limitation of this study is that it only focuses on Serang District, Banten Province, but its finding will help other similar areas. The current study uses cross-sectional data and survey information. Beyond the scope of the study, transparency, organizational culture, reward, and punishment can also increase accountability. And the last, future research will use longitudinal data, different data types, and different methods to better understand and solve this problem. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. Untuk presenter kedua, itu Ibu Arfa Filiang, yang akan menyampaikan tentang digital money in Indonesian, study of literature, supporting technological progress in the era of society 5.0 Indonesia. Waktu dan tempat kami persilahkan.
Baik, terima kasih Pak. Mohon maaf, screen-nya udah kelihatan ya Pak ya?
Belum, masih proses. Oke, udah muncul.
Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning. I want to introduce myself. My name is Arfa Filiang. I am doctoral student at University Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa, Jakarta, Indonesia. This moment, I want to say thank you for the opportunity given to me to read my presentation. The title is Digital Money in Indonesia, Study of Literature Supporting Technological Progress in the Era of Society 5.0 Indonesia. I am Arfa Filiang and my team, Profesor Dr. Mutia, Dr. Muhammad Taki, Dr. Imam Habu Hanifah. Introduction. Technological developments enter the 5.0 era required Indonesia to be able to develop digitalization in the economic sector, including through digitizing money, or what is often here with digital money. How about previous research professors, Yulia 2021 say that digital payment are quite high in urban areas because the velocity of movement is faster than in rural areas. Kurniawan 2021, digital money, which was originally an alternative, is now one of the main payment that is supported and protected by the governments. Digital money is expected to be able to make innovation and new breakthroughs in Indonesia in supporting and being able to complete in technology era 5.0, especially in economic. Focus on discussion about electronic or digital money as one of Indonesia innovation and participation is boosting technological progress in society 5.0. How about results methods? This results is a type of literature study, which meaning the result of previous studies that reveals that use of electronic money in Indonesia for the use of official payment. This study will reveal or examine the strength and weakness of the use of electronic money used for official payment in Indonesia. Furthermore, the literature review research including in the study is a type of qualitative describes a research. The material of the study were obtained through documents from previous research which were collected by collecting and analyzing the document article from society journal that have been published both nationality and international. This study examined 15 articles on the use of electronic money as legal payment in Indonesia. How about result and discussion? This research is a literature study to examine the meaning, use, and advantages and disadvantages of digital money. The data in the study of 15 journal article that discuss digital money in transaction as a form of advance in financial digitalization technology in the era of society 5.0. Digital money meaning today in Indonesia, the development of electronic money as a means of non-cash payment takes place not only in the form of cards, but also in the form of application on smartphones. How about use of digital money? Use of digital money that appears in Indonesia has increased. This illustrates the popularity of digital money and the development of finance in Indonesia because nowadays everyone wants something fast. How about advance and disadvantage of digital money? Digital money will also affect the financial service industry in the future and be able to reduce barriers in access in financial service industry. Disadvantages of digital money starting with the use of digital wallet which are very dependent on the internet network while not all areas on internet network are stable. And now, conclusion, this price of digital money as a safe, legal, and universal means of payment to increase trade transaction and digital economic growth in Indonesia in the society 5.0 era. The increasing number of non-cash transactions reflect that our people starting to wish to transaction machines that do not require cash in every financial transaction activity. Benefits that are in the line with expectation and the ease of operation of digital money make the payment system reliable for the public in conducting transaction, and the government continue to improve the society system for digital money users. This all my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Rizky Fitrianti, ya dipersilakan. Ya. Di sini.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. Honorable to all the reviewers and all audience in this room, offline or virtual meeting, and my team. Thanks to all the support. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rizky Fitrianti, and over there, my team Eka Susilawati and Nurma Kurnia Fajarwati. And then thanks to the committee for having us to deliver our research today. Well, we have delivered our research entitled The Dominance of Digital Literacy and Communication Privacy in the Cyber Media Age. Well, ladies and gentlemen, dear sir, of internet and social media. They try to get more attention and they interact with each other in the social media. So by giving a comment, even bad or impolite comment, then existence of us is the main reason why we explore communication privacy in social media. It's a bias because they don't know and they don't they cannot differentiate between where the privacy is and where the public consumption is. So yeah, this is the high internet penetration rate of 64%. And this is the impact on the ease and speed of information flows through the internet. Because most people in Indonesia only know about how to use the internet without knowing, or they don't care about the risk or negative effect of using it. And the users will filter out more information before using the internet, and can be avoided by a presence of digital literacy. Excuse me? Okay. We have. Oh gitu. Oh langsung sini. Oh iya. No. Okay. Okay, we found that digital literacy is the best solution in avoid the risk and bad effect of using internet, because I think digital literacy can avoid the users in Indonesia to have decision to post or to share their daily activity or not. Yeah, and then in this research, the purpose in this research is to know about the effect of digital literacy in communication privacy in cyber media era with quantitative research method. And we have 200 participants in 4 university in Serang City. They are Untirta, UIN Banten, Unsera, and of course Bina Bangsa University, especially communication studies student, using sample snowball sampling. Yep. Next. Okay, and then the result. Yep, the result. Yeah, stop. The result of this research is a communication study student in Banten. They still have awareness about what they have to do in social media. They know about how to share something with their activity in daily activity, and then digital literacy with a strong literacy skills still have a high standardization of communication privacy. So digital literacy is a dominant factor in determining how low and high about privacy in communication, especially in media, social media. And yep, we can and then it is found that R-square value of 57.8%. This is the conclude that digital literacy is the fairly dominant factor in determining the high and low privacy of communication. Because people with strong digital literacy skills and comprehension will have a higher standardization of privacy boundaries. So they have still awareness to have a decision to share it or not, because they know about risks, they know about the violence and then hoax and other phenomenon in the social media. And then further research is required because the study found that environmental and socioeconomic factors significantly influence change in the privacy of individual communication. Yep, it's exactly because we have two main factors in communication privacy in social media. The first is environment, and the second is social economic. The environment can influence some aspect to change human behavior. And then the second, social economic. Why? Because when we are in the middle class or a lower class, for example, we want to share a show to other people about we have a good life. Oh, I'm okay, I'm charming, and etc. And we want to have existence of them around virtual life, even the real life. That's 10 minutes. Okay, thank you. I think that's all from our team from Bina Bangsa University. Thanks for the nice attention, and I do apologize for all the mistake I did. The last I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and thanks all the audience. Good morning, everybody.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, grogi.
Untuk selanjutnya, kita akan lanjutkan kepada Ibu Rosydian dengan Das Environmental Initiative and Improve Financial Performance. Untuk waktu, kami persilahkan 10 menit, bisa dimulai sekarang. Enggak. Rosydian.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to say thank you for coming to my presentation. It's great to see you all. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rosydian Andriani. I am from Sultan Ageng Tirtayasa University, and I want to present my research. It's about the title is Does Environmental Initiatives Can Improve Financial Performance? The purpose of this study, the study of this research, the study aims to examine environmental initiative on financial performance. For the introduction and theory, first of this introduction, company does not only operate for the benefit of shareholders, but also in the form of attention to interested parties, or we call stakeholders, in business practice through the implementation of corporate social responsibility, or CSR. CSR disclosure receives more attention from regulators, capital market players, the public, and the media. It's in Social Investment Forum in 2012. The motivation of the management of environmentally responsible companies may not pursue financial reporting for their own interests, because it will endanger the company's reputation and heighten litigation. And for the hypothesis of this study, for hypothesis 1, environmental initiatives have a positive effect on financial performance. For this research, the sample we use 30 companies listed in the Indonesian Stock Exchange for each year from 2018 until 2021. For measurement of this research, for financial performance is proxied by return on assets. And for environmental initiatives are measured through the disclosure of the GRI 3.1 standard. This is the research model of this study. The research model for environmental initiatives, it include energy and emission in category energy and emission. It's the effect of environmental initiatives is to financial performance. It's the thesis 1. For analysis of the study, testing the hypothesis of this study, the test whether environmental initiative as measured by the comparison of the number of environmental initiatives reported by GRI or ENV. Based on the result of the testing hypothesis 1, it produced a coefficient value of 1.160 with a significance of 0.0. The p value under 0.05. On emission aspect, the significant result is similar to the study by Saleh et al. In 2011, which states that there is an influence of CSR on financial performance. And for the result on the study and the conclusion, the result of the study indicate that environmental initiatives have a positive significant effect on financial performance. And for the further research, the researcher can extend the year of the research and extend the sample on the research. Okay, thank you very much for your great attention here, ladies and gentlemen. May all this be beneficial for all of us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Oke, thank you. Untuk selanjutnya, Ibu Setiarini, attention on concept question, a review of green intellectual capital. Untuk waktu kami persilahkan.
Terima kasih Pak untuk waktunya. Sebentar saya share. Apakah sudah bisa dilihat?
Sudah.
Okay. Thank you for the Committee of International Conference on Sustainability in Technology, Environmental, Law, Management, Social and Economic Matters for the opportunity given to us. Now I would like to present my paper titled Antecedents and Consequences, a Review of Green Intellectual Capital, written by me, myself, Setiarini Santosa, Professor Dr. Tubagus Ismail, Dr. Imam Abu Hanifah, and Dr. Munawar Muslih. Okay. The most important factor for the company competitive advantage in this knowledge and digital era is intellectual capital. The role of intellectual capital is more and more significant nowadays due to the pressure from the public and international regulation to integrate environmental sustainability issue in the business. In the effort to examine intellectual capital in the context of environmental issue, CEN in 2008 has already introduced a novel construct named green intellectual capital. Adopting environmental initiative needs specific effort and investment, as well as bring certain financial and non-financial impact to the business. Company might consider that investment in environmental management and protection do not give any benefit. It is high cost and reduce the profit. While another opinion said that the compliance with environmental regulation will support efficiency and enhance the corporate image and reputation. In turn, it will enhance the competitiveness of the companies too. However, research on green intellectual capital lacking. It can be seen from the total number of research on green intellectual capital. I've done a small research, and by applying publish or perish software using a certain criteria, there are only 61 documents can be found on the Scopus database for the last 14 years, since the first time a green intellectual capital construct was introduced by Chen in 2008. And I took this data on June 2022. It means that on the average, there are only 4 until 5 articles per year that publish on the Scopus database only, that talking about green intellectual capital construct. Then according to us, this is still rare, yeah, and there are still great opportunity. That's why it is very interesting to discuss this point. This paper aim at finding the antecedent and consequences of green intellectual capital to provide the applicable research approach in the future. And also integrated research model will be suggested as a recommendation for future empirical research. For the methodology, we have already we use 3 steps. The first one is populating the document. For this step, we use the publish or perish software, and using keyword with the green intellectual capital as searching criteria, we gather 71 documents. The next step is sorting the document using exclusion criteria, such as the availability of the full text, meaning that if we cannot access the full version, then we exclude it. We also exclude paper that come from other disciplines. We also exclude book chapter, notes and review, and we come up with 45 documents. Then we do further analysis for this document to come up with the conclusion. For the first one, when we do the analysis, we are mapping the direct and indirect model for all article under review. And it can be seen that there are 14 articles for direct model with 11 consequences. And for the indirect relationship, we could found 8 mediating variable that appears in 11 articles under study, with moderating variables which are IT capability, environmental leadership, and green innovation. From the 11 consequences that can be gathered, the competitive advantage and environmental performance were used by 5 researchers each, while the economic performance were used only by 2 researchers. Other consequences are social performance, sustainability performance, business sustainability, social innovation, green innovation adoption, green human resource management, organizational learning capability, and also environmental responsibility. And for the result of this empirical research, we can see from the table, sometimes it is a significant positive and sometimes it is not significant. It means that it's still open for future research. And for the contextual variable, we can find there are 8 contextual variables that is used. Mostly they use green innovation, yeah, for the mediating variable. And other thing is green human resource management, also environmental management, pro-environmental behavior, environmental performance measurement system, competitive advantage, and supply chain. For the significant and non-significant relationship, you may see from the star that I put there in this table. Next. For the antecedent, we can find 7 antecedents from 9 articles. Yeah, the most antecedent used are environmental consciousness, so corporate social responsibility. Other antecedents that are used by the articles under review are top management commitment, environmental regulation, green strategic intent, green human resource management, and also green innovation strategic orientation. And the result you may see also from this table for the significant and insignificant relationship. For the conclusion, we can conclude that the environmental consciousness and CSR, corporate social responsibility, are two most frequently used antecedents in green intellectual capital research. While for the consequences, there are competitive advantage and also performance, particularly environmental performance and economic performance, that are the most used frequent consequences in the GIC research for the article under B. And then for the contextual variable, most of the time they use green innovation as the moderate, as the mediate variable for the indirect model. And according to our study, that direct model is relatively more frequent than the indirect one. And then the next one is that all variables still can be used for future research, given the small number of study and the ambiguous result. And the direct model is oversimplifies the reality, making its implication for practice is still dubious. Hence, the indirect research is considered to be far more appropriate. The next one is the conclusion for future research. For future research, we can focus on an integrated model that can continue to include CSR, and environmental consciousness as the antecedent for green intellectual capital. And the consequences, we suggest that we are going to use the sustainable performance introduced by Elkington, on, I believe it is in 1994, as a consequences. This use the approach, which is three bottom line approach. The performance consists of three types, which is environmental performance, social performance, and also economic performance at the all together. Use these three performance together. The model will be more useful in practice if green innovation and/or other strategy are used as mediating or moderating variable on the relationship between green intellectual capital and sustainability performance. Since strategic involvement is crucial because green strategy can be exploited as a tool to win the competition. Additionally, rather than focusing just on green intellectual research at an organizational level, we suggest that the future study may be directed at the national or global level, regional level. Okay, I think that's all from our presentation. Thank you very much, and any input will be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Setiarini. Untuk selanjutnya
kita akan yang administrasi Pak Sumaryo. Sumaryo sudah hadir. Pak Sumaryo, level discord of the intellectual capital in Indonesia Mining Company in order to save the earth from carbon emission. Bapak Sumaryo. Videonya Pak. Beliau mengirimkan videonya. Oh, kita pilih. Dari 0 video ya.
regard green intellectual capital practice must be in line with the triple bottom line principle. Second method. The trend used in this study is secondary data consisting of quantitative data. Secondary data was obtained from the annual sustainability report. 3. Mining companies listed on the Indonesian Stock Exchange starts from 2018 to 2020. The purpose sampling method was chosen in this study to observe in total of 218 observation that obtained from the website. The measurement of the study referred to Jan 28 with the dummy score. The scoring system for each disclosed item is made by the company in the annual report. Each disclosure of an item will be given a value of 1 and 0 if the item is not disclosed. Then the score of each item will be added up to obtain the total score of the disclosure of each company. Green intellectual capital disclosed for value in total of 17 items. Green human capital measurement consists of 5 indicator items. Measurement of green super capital, there are 7 indicator items in total. Green relation capital consists of 5 indicator items. Level of disclosure, level is very low and disclosure 5 is high. Refer to Bombia 2021 with the following level. Level 1, disclose practice is a score 0 to 20% from the research entity. B, level 2, disclose practice with a value gain of 21 to 20% of the research entity. Level 3, disclose practice with a value gain of 41 to 50%. Level 4, disclose practice with score of 61 to 80% of the research entity. And level 5, disclose practice with score of 81 to 100% of the research. Result and discuss. The aim of the study is investigation to level of green intellectual disclosure practice in Indonesian mining companies. The result of study have been presented to see table 2. The result of the analysis saw that the level of green intellectual capital disclosure practice in Indonesian mining companies varies from 38.80% to 74.41%. Green human capital level to 4 and green structural capital level 3 and generation capital level 3. Conclusion. Research on application of the green intellectual capital model conducted by authors saw that the commitment of Indonesian mining companies in overall green intellectual capital disclosure is level 3 and the component have different levels. 1. The green relation capital and green structural capital component are at level 3. 2. The green human capital component is at level 4 of 5 states, seen from indicator item among of the 3 components. 3. Green relation capital seem to need special attention because the potential of green human capital to undergo green relation capital is still weak based on the outcast research reminded many companies in Indonesia to encourage investment in green intellectual capital, especially the green relation capital component. Thank you.